So now, go to your workflow, hit your pay period controls. Now,
Whoops.
oh, we're good.
Trying to move it up.
Okay. Now, notice for each pay period, hit your little attachments. Those are those little posting journals right there.
Okay.
You know, those little reports that you were just validating and previewing and then hitting post. It's saving the job cost journal. Now try and hit view, but I think I might have to fix Will up with some permissions. I thought that we're going to get that same little thing right there. But those reports are attached right in there.
Okay. Okay. So we go back into the pay period control and go up to the attachment, and this is where we would then be able to go by added date.
Yeah. All the other posting journals are in what's called HQ batch control, but since these are payroll ones, you have to have access to this form.
Okay.
Since payroll is more sensitive than just AP and other posting journals around the system, we're putting these in the payroll module.
Okay.
The other ones are kind of in HQ batch controls.
Okay.
Okay. So cancel that there. So that's where those little journals are parked at.
Okay.
So right now, in a perfect world, so let's run that JC detail report. Go to job cost reports, JC detail. And like I said, any summary report will also have that. Let's, beginning job, let's find that 1Z1000 up the top. And preview. So now, you're going to see a pretty good chunk
Tax.
of,
Oh, here's your construction.
there's that burden. So if you had a calculator, that 478 should be 30% of his 1595.20 is what I'm hoping that 30% is, because now we pointed that one to the proper type, and it's understanding how to do that.
Yep. I just got to hit the right.
So that was the one that wasn't there before, and we set it up so it was pointed in the right direction
That is correct.
of the 30% burden, but that is job-wide and not kind of trade-specific or division-specific, department-specific.
But this would be good, Chris, if we have a situation where the wrong burden or burden needed to come off completely, that this would be easy enough to go out there and extract it back off the job.
Yep.
So.
Yeah,
nice that
and
you
we're
get this
trying to
full
come up with a
detail.
system where it's going to be better managed too, because we
front end.
added it to our startup form, which, you know, startup forms may totally go away. But we're adding it where instead of the burden being just a blank cell, they have to pick from a drop-down list, so there's going to be 3 rates. So it's like a required field. So I've put a note out there to Stacy and Justin, like how do they want to message that? Because I don't want them to be able to say, yep, we want 0 burden.
Yeah, yeah.
And it not have to be going through some kind of approval process.
Yeah.
So, so we'll start that ball rolling, and then as we morph into the new system, then we'll figure out some way to, you know, it has to be some kind of validated field.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Okay, so usually, just to take a full circle on what happens in the payroll module, cancel out of here. I've updated my GL, I've updated my job cost, I'm all done. Normally, go to the very top again, to the payroll control. This is where you would click on change status. Hey, this pay period is open and someone could enter a time card to this pay period. Would you like to close this? Because next week's another week and you can enter time to a new pay period that will open for the next week.
Okay.
So this will disallow you the ability to enter a time card to the closed pay period, because it has to be an open pay period for me to enter time to.
You want to run the ledger.
Let's say yes. Now, the only reason people do this, enter, please, hit validate.
Do I need to click
Yeah.
these?
And like I said, if you want to look at that, This would be, has anything happened if you hit preview? Did anybody go in to time card and reallocate from one job to another? Because it would do a negative positive
Okay.
and it would net to zero. So in here, you're like, nothing changed in the general ledger since the last time I posted. And same thing in the job cost. This is where someone had snuck in there and changed the time. Somebody got like, oh, I messed up on that time, should hit that phase and not that phase. It would do a negative to the wrong phase positive. It would net to zero because of what we talked about. But maybe I just hadn't updated and posted to my job cost.
Okay.
This tells me that nothing has changed since the last time I posted, because as you can see,
validate that I can close it.
that is correct. And then go ahead and post. So at that point in time, you just got a little document saying, and it's closed. So now close out of here, go to your grid view. If I went to time card entry, I couldn't enter time right now because I don't have an open pay period.
Because you need to open another one.
So now, normally at this time, you could enter next week's payroll, doing what we talked about, and then it would be an open thing to start entering time going forward.
Okay.
But now if you go to time card entry and try and pick an open pay period, system's like, you ain't got no open pay periods. You closed the last one and didn't open a new one for the next pay period. So go to your first step, open your pay period, and then enter time to your
So then you'd have to close out of this and go back into it to get that ability to activate a new one?
Oh, just go down below.
Oh, I see.
1,
Okay.
10. Started on the 4th, just type in 4.
Oh, you can just type in, oh, look at that.
Or 5, or did it start on the 5th or the 4th?
Oh,
So it ended on the 4th. I was thinking it started on the 4th.
No?
It knows what month and year it is. It's just trying to help you. Now, this is not a multi-month one, okay? Because all the time and the check is both in the same month, so it doesn't have to do any of those prior month accruals, reversal type things.
Okay.
Because it is everything, all the time expense and the check is in the same month. So you wouldn't check multi-month because everything's within the same accounting period, the expense and the check portion of it.
Okay.
Enter, 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 40, 7, and 1. Hit the payment sequence tab, please.
Oops.
Oh, it's saying no frequency. I'm getting over there. So close. Go back to the grid. We want to be on the open one.
Sorry, every time. There we go.
Got to be on the payment sequence. So it created the single payment sequence 1, but you know, this the makeup check, bonus check run, we would have to add 2 if we want to. You usually don't have to do it at this point in time.
Okay.
Go to the active frequency codes, F4. You're always going to put capital W for weekly.
Okay.
And then go down below there, hit F4. If we were going to set up, what did you call those? Auto allowance?
Auto allowance.
Was that the first pay period of the month?
First pay period of the
You would set those up as M, capital M for monthly.
Okay.
So only on the first pay period, you would put W and M, meaning give me all my weekly ones and give me the monthly ones. All the other pay periods you'd put in capital W only, which means leave off those automatic monthly things you set up in that big table. Give me that time card just once. That's where that frequency of how often do you want something to happen. But you have to remember on the first pay period of the month to add the capital M to this one. Otherwise, you'd be like, hey, give me that.
So,
you put it in here, reprocess, it would pop up and you get it.
So how would it, so in theory, the previous pay period, so what we paid on 12/1, we would have paid vehicle allowances for on the check date 12/1. So we would have actually processed it in the previous pay period. So when that happens and you do the vehicle allowance and that process, does it automatically, if you're doing it through the auto earnings, does it automatically know to post it as a 12/1? As a December?
On a split month, you mean?
Yeah, if you have a split month.
With a double sequence?
Because ultimately when we pay vehicle allowance, whatever the very first paycheck is of the month. So it could be majority of the time it's going to be
you'd have 3 sequences at that point, right? So you'd have a weekly for, and then a monthly.
Well, you'd have a weekly, which is multi-month,
Mhm.
and then you would have the monthly for the vehicle allowance, which we wouldn't
Does it hit
want
in
to
December?
split between the 2
Mhm.
months. We would just want it to hit into the posting month. How would that work?
Then
We
that,
have to do a separate,
let's cancel out of here. So like I said, this only triggers what you want to process. Cancel out of here for just a sec. Go to your setup, payroll setup, automatic earnings. It's on the right. Thank you. Go to your grid. Okay. So who's an employee that has an example of this? So,
well, there isn't, well, who would be on the,
who's
on
got
the,
the monthly automatic
Me?
stuff?
no. Well, you're admin, so this
For
is field.
union? Oh, yeah.
It's, Mr.
But I'm in the global table, so I'm just not in the field.
Well-
I'm in the employee automatic earnings, so it could be for all employees.
Yes, but the pay group that we're paying through is field. The payroll
Yeah, it's
processing.
PR group.
The PR group is field, so that's why I picked the
And
field
we
guy.
made field 1 and admin 2, correct?
Yeah, but this table's looking to both. It doesn't care whether you're a field guy or an admin. Automatic earnings
Okay, so,
can apply to either or.
okay, so earning code,
F4,
because I didn't.
Earnings
get your
Oh,
earnings
earnings.
codes. Yeah, there's no automatic ones in here.
No,
One,
or TikToks and
one, and enter, enter, enter,
You don't have stock?
and enter. Override hours, click on that and put in 0 for your hours because vehicle amounts does not have hours.
Yeah.
Enter. So what is the monthly amount that we would want to hit Gerald with? Enter and put capital M. So this is where that monthly would come into play right there. So hit save here. So having done this,
Okay,
the system would know all the salary ones would be weekly because they get that weekly salary every week and create a weekly time card.
Mhm.
These ones, you put a capital M in there for anyone who had vehicle allowance. Then on that pay period controls, on that first payroll, you got to remember to add M to that processing thing. So you closed out of there. So in that pay period controls, if this was the first one you wanted to, you'd go to the active frequency controls, and only on that first pay period of the month, you would put capital M there, and it would process that properly. But all the other weeks, you just want the weekly stuff.
so,
But you have to add this on only that first pay period where you want those to process as an additional item on their time card. It'll create an automatic time card.
so if this was, and I understand that, so if this was so if you're looking at the grid, if this was selected as a multi-month, and we did the frequency of monthly, when it posts, will it post into the second?
Current month, yes.
The second month?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That's what I was just trying to understand is if we do it, because a lot of
What do you mean
times that's
current
the
month?
week.
The check month in a multi-month environment, there's the previous month and then the current month. And then the check date always controls the current month. So she wanted to know, is it gonna be expensed and handled in the first month or the second month? And I told her that
And so
the current
because
month
the
was
check
the
date
second
is,
month.
because it's monthly, the check date is in the current month, so it'll drive. Okay, that's what I wanted
That's
to.
correct.
Okay.
So that's what we'll do to officially set up anybody with those automatic earnings
Okay.
on a monthly is put in the capital M for those. And do
Okay.
that.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have to find something for Erica to do. We're taking care of way too much of her
Well,
manual
did you
stuff.
see all those tabs in the HR portal?
Yeah,
Be very busy.
That's a deep ocean.
Well, yeah,
It's gonna be tracking so much stuff, you won't know what to do. You won't.
From what I just saw, I mean, I don't know how the current payroll process, I kind of do, but I know there's a lot of data entry stuff. But for admin payroll with the rules, because there's no weirdness, it seems like it's pretty
Well,
automated.
some of it we could, I mean, people that just default automatically to overhead, you could just set it up as the auto
That's what I
salary.
mean, with all the auto
That's what I'm
Right,
saying.
but the problem
The overtime
is
rule.
we struggle with trying to get the people to phase code their information on a timely basis. So we need some kind of a little under their chair if they don't get it done by a certain time, like.
Well, but if
That's
we
exactly.
had, if we had where they had the
Exactly.
capability of submitting it electronically though,
I mean,
granted, that necessarily.
they still have to log
they still have
in
to
and do it,
Yes.
but I don't know if a notification is powerful enough, if you're, if it's notifying, because you can still swipe the notification away.
Pretty much.
And right now, we're struggling to get them.
Yeah, true.
So we'll have to decide on what that looks like, because we're not gonna, just because we have the ability to go in and adjust, doesn't mean we want to constantly post it wrong
Correct.
and,
No.
put it in suspense to constantly go back and fix it.
Mhm.
I mean, that would be a nightmare.
No, that's just a check and balance. That's not a thing you want to happen all the time, that's for sure.
No.
Yeah.
And because we're going to this complexity, we want everybody in the right departments, to the right jobs, to the right phase,
Mhm.
so we get good information weekly.
Agreed.
Okay.
Now, for the sake of, I guess I got two things I know that isn't done here. One is I've got to get all of the filing status and exemptions into the employee setup. Remember how we went in there
Yes.
and manually entered married and two or single and zero or whatever. And then also what we don't have in Vista are the employee-specific deductions and liabilities. We were pretty happy today on the union guys of what process, because Margaret had went into the craft class setup, put in the rate of pay, the deductions and the pensions and all the liabilities for local 66 for the journeyman and the foreman, and it was working pretty good. So we were kind of sniffing around our 366 guys. But I don't know if any of those 66 guys have any employee-specific deductions. Would they have any child support? Would they-
Yeah.
Well, so then all the admin people who aren't in 66, who has a 401k, who has medical, who has dental, who has all of those.
And then setting up all their direct deposit.
All the direct deposit. So
All right.
even though we kind of got enough to get some time cards and test how things post to the GL and stuff. So I wanted to kind of hammer out, one, what else we got to do to get our employees fully functional? Two, have we hit this whole GL thing and the departments and how we're going to do this, and have we resolved that thing, which is more the GL mapping and the job setup and so I just want to regroup on those two items before we get down any other wormhole, because those are big things we wanted to get done. Continue working on the setup of the payroll module, make sure it's ready, and then figure out how we're going to get what we need out of the system. So I kind of showed you what's going through the system right now and how we had to get the information that we have right now in the job and in the general ledger. And it's working properly, but it's working properly using the very complex departmental structure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And so that's what we tested in this situation. So, not sure what we wanted to do. If I did the little override thing and we used a phase override, the first thing that would come out is, well, I'm missing all of my general ledger where it's hitting my Social Security, my Medicare, my workers' comp, my union benefits into all those different expenses, because it's rolling up at just a single labor level for that or something. So we can certainly go in there and do that. But, like I said, I want to keep focused on
Is
kind
that
of,
something that we already know is going to fail?
and then,
Is that what you're saying?
well, but like I said, I'm going to show you what you would lose.
Mhm.
It would certainly simplify the heck out of your job setup. But by doing that, you're going to see how the system works. So we can do the next pay period and do a quick one-guy check, go to a phase override, do his check, post it, bam. Now that we know how to do it, we can wing through it in 5 minutes and do a ledger update and get the thing over there, and you'd be like, ah, okay.
Yeah, but with that, I mean, we're
back to the
required
chase and
to
jam
have
back
all
up.
that stuff go to the separate GLs. I mean, that's what we want.
Well, yeah, I
Yeah.
can't have it just all.
So. if
Right,
we
but to have the
know-
system kind of do that for us and then redo it, then you lay eyes on it. It'd take me 5 minutes to show you how that game is.
Well, yeah, to compare it. So if you do the phase override, could you use that, how it affects?
Dawn, instead of doing that to our 201, can we just copy our 201 to a new company 202 and then do the changes in there? We're not wiping out everything we've just done.
Oh, no, what I was thinking of is just going into that one
Doing one phase
One
override.
job.
phase override on one quickie little thing and just calling it good just to show you how it'd take me a second.
Alright, I gotta use the restroom.
No, you
but
certainly.
you didn't proceed.
Okay, so if we initiated this,
Okay.
so we can actually take this out.
Yeah, we'll delete that one if you want, because it really isn't applicable to the second pay period. We maybe would have put it in the first one,
Yes.
had everything been ready to rock
Yeah,
and roll.
yeah.
Okay, so cancel out here.